and welcome to Vantage Point. I'm Lori Hayes, and we are excited to bring you this wonderful opportunity. I'm telling you, you are going to be so happy that you decided to tune in today. Because why? I have some of the flyest ladies with me today, my co-hosts for Vantage Point. So now, what you're going to find is that we are always real with you, ladies.
Yes.
So I'm going to be real about the way I felt when I found out that Alexa Hawkins was going to be on the panel. I call her TT because you just have to respect who she is because, okay, she is a wealth of knowledge. I was thinking, how am I going to be able to talk to her? She like lives and breathes books. She has to. She walks in knowledge and grace, and she's so humble. She's traveled the world. She's one of my own personal mentors. So the fact that I get the chance to sit and share my mentoring time with TT, you'll see me call her that.
Yes.
With TT, I think it's just a privilege. So I'd like to introduce to the world Miss Alexa Hawkins,
Thank you very much.
TT.
I think she's the only one that calls me TT too. I love it. I love it. Well, I am so excited to be here. And when I heard about Vantage Point, I was thinking, God, this is our chance to be real and to show the real God to real people. Because I think that's the thing that's missing. People have this airy-fairy idea of God being so far away, but no, it's an everyday kind of a relationship.
Yeah.
So that just really turned me on. And I was thinking when you were talking that my name, Alexa, is short for Alexander, which means helper and defender of mankind. And if there's anything that I'd like to bring to the table, it's just helping people. That's what I'm about, helping people. And I think that's really precious. And speaking of precious, I want to introduce my girlfriend, Miss Serge Marie Pierce, or should I say Mrs. Serge Marie Pierce. This girl, I think, is extraordinary because the thing I love the most about Serge is that she's so awesome and she doesn't even realize it. She's so humble in her approach. And I love just listening to her. I love the way she asks questions. She's curious about life. She's so sweet. She's obviously so beautiful. This is a mom of 3, husband of 1. Awesome woman of God. Wife of 1. Thank you. Thank you. Fix it up for me. Fix it up for me. Thank you. But anyway, I'm introducing to you Mrs. Serge Marie.
Well, thank you, Alexa. You are awesome. I have to say, echo these 2 ladies. When I was asked to be part of Vantage Point, I was humbled. And when I was told who my co-hosts, my sisters, will be, I was just like so elated because I'm thinking, wow, I am amongst greatness. That's the first thing that came to mind. And one of my sisters, whom I cherish, and she's a gem in every sense of the word. She's a public speaker. She's a giver. She's a true humanitarian at heart. And I just love the fact that she's just genuine. And that is how I would describe Miss Natalie Torres Washington.
Yes.
Genuine.
Whew, can't mess up this good makeup. Thank you. You know, when we received the invitation to be a part of this awesome project, at first my initial response was, who, me? But then the Holy Spirit quickened to me, remember that desire I placed in you when you were a child?
Yes.
And I was like, yes, Lord, this is me. And so I knew God's hand was on this project. And then we found out who was going to be a part of this. And I said, yes, I couldn't agree with you. Being amongst great women. Yes. And that's an awesome thing. That is an awesome thing. One of these great women, she kind of reminds me of, the Kool-Aid commercial that kind of busts in the room and breaks down the wall. And there you have Kool-Aid smiling, dancing. Well, that's one of my girlfriends. And I also think of the famous poem, one of Maya Angelou's classics, Phenomenal Woman. One of the lines says, they try so much, but they just can't touch her inner mystery. And that's what I think about with this woman. She is just full of joy. And, fun is temporary, but joy is a mystery that's not easy to decipher. But my friend, I know what it is. It is the joy of the Lord that's consumed her. And that is my good and precious, loving, beautiful girlfriend, Mrs. Lori Hayes.
Lori
Hayes? Yes, you.
Well, if you insist.
That's right.
I'm telling you, we are so excited, just like Alexa said, to be able to give you God through our vantage point. And so we want to make sure that in everything that we do it in excellence, and that we're representing the kingdom well. And so we're going to have several topics for you that you're just going to absolutely love. And one of those topics we're going to address, trending. What's trending? What's going on? Now, ladies, I think it's important that we distinguish the difference between trending and gossip.
Oh, that's good.
We will not be a bunch of ladies that will be sitting up here gossiping. Oh, no.
That's good.
But we will talk about what's going on. Okay? There is a difference. We have to be well informed, we have to be educated, and we have to know what's going on. You know, the body of Christ has to be in everything, in the marketplace as well as in the church. So, what's trending, Nat?
And in addition to all of that, no judgment.
Yes.
No judgment. You know, we're just having a discussion, an open discussion. Absolutely. So, on ChristianityToday.com, there was an article, an excerpt from an author that says, "You are what you love. Christian parents, your children need more than a bomb shelter." Y'all ready for this?
I'm
It's
ready.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So this was a professor who wrote an article discussing the natural desire of a parent to protect their children from the influences of the world. Now, you guys are moms. You would agree that, you know, mothers do that. I'm not a mom yet, in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
But it's coming. But the article says, "We are both incubators and defenders of our children's hearts and minds, stewards of their imaginations, responsible for their instruction." Agree, right? "It's only natural that we should be their defenders on guard like sentinels watching in the distance for oncoming threats. But what if we're missing, or worse, creating the real threats?" And what I mean by this is, what if you're constructing defenses that ultimately will cripple your child? So as mothers, at what point are you no longer protecting your babies, but you're crippling them?
That's awesome.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think as far as myself goes, one of the things my mom used to always say is that when you're raising children, what you want to do is to give them roots and give them wings. And the idea is that even from the beginning, the idea you have in raising your children is that you're raising them to be able to stand alone. And if you're doing that throughout, you know, the 18 years plus, because it doesn't stop at 18, but throughout those 18 years plus, you're always thinking, okay, how can I get this person to think on her own or his own? And it's just kind of like a process of always, you know, you have your hands on, but you're always letting go. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Absolutely. I think the great thing about our panel is how diverse we are in regards to the ages of our children. So, Alexa, you have older children. My children are kind of the younger ones in the mix, and then yours are the next phase, and then yours are in there, brewing, waiting on us, right?
Yeah.
So
Lord
I
is
think
saying, "Not
the
yet, though."
conversation is different on every level. I find that I want to predispose my child before the world does.
That's good.
So I will show them what is to come. Like, I'm that parent, you know, I'm trying to every day not go to jail, because my ways of parenting are a little unconventional. Because I don't sugarcoat. You will find that about me. I am not the sugarcoater. You will find that you can't sugarcoat it for them. In my vocation, I deal with young people every day. And they're being exposed to things much earlier than before. So what I'll do is, I'll show my son a video on YouTube of a kid who ran out in the street, got hit by a car, and say, "Do you see what that looks like?"
Yeah.
Now, if you run out in the street, that could potentially happen to you. And so allowing them to see, because I'm a visual learner, allowing them to see, these are the consequences of your actions. So my idea is, they're going to learn it from mommy before they learn it anywhere else.
And can I just add real quick? Lori Hayes has some of the best punishments that I've ever
I am
heard
gifted to
of.
punish.
And
Praise the
I
Lord.
have a file, an electronic file of Lori Hayes and Surgeon Marie Pierce's punishments for my children. Brilliant, very brilliant.
But you know what's amazing, as I totally agree with Lori and Alexa, but one of the things I've learned to do, being a mother of 3, is learning my children, studying them.
Yes.
Because all 3
Yes.
are different in the Pierce household. And what may work for the first child may not necessarily work for the second or the third. But having the Word of God being the foundation, because what I'm learning, because like Lori, I work with a lot of youth. Right? And I always say that our goal, my husband and I goal, is to be that spiritual guide. And what I found a lot of times is parents are living their lives through their children.
Right.
That's not of God. That is not of God. Because what you may have missed out, and sometimes as parents, we overcompensate in not giving what that child needs from a God's perspective, what we think they need. Now, yes, our goal is to protect, and we are that spiritual guide, and we're supposed to provide that foundation, and you're supposed to study that child to see what works and what may not work. But within all of that, you have to have God's word as that barometer, if you will.
Serge, that is so on point. And I have got a great example of that because you're right. Sometimes as a parent, we have to get out of the way of what God's doing and realize that our children do have a level of maturity. My daughter wanted to go to Japan, and she had 3 opportunities. The first 2 just failed completely. And so on her 3rd opportunity, and she was believing God for this. We were all believing God for this. Her 3rd opportunity was a few years ago when the tsunami hit. And so the tsunami hit, I think it was maybe 3 weeks before she was scheduled to go. So my first thought was, okay, this trip is canceled.
Absolutely.
This is not happening.
Done.
They're talking about
Get the refund.
nuclear reactors going off in the north. I'm thinking, where are you going to be? Japan's not that big. So my first reaction was no. And we were standing together watching TV. She said, she was staring at the TV, and she said, I'm going. And it was her faith just coming out of her spirit. She said, I'm going.
And not defiant.
And not defiance. You could just tell it was coming out of her spirit. My first reaction was, and the Holy Spirit said to me, don't say a word. Don't say a word. So he was working on me because instead of me operating in fear, really she was the mature one because she was standing exactly where she should be. Long story short, the trip was fine. We called the people. They reassured us, X, Y, and Z. We dotted our I's. We crossed our T's because you got to do that in the natural. But she went on that trip and it was fine.
Wow.
So sometimes it's the child. You just have to understand what their maturity level is. And even when it looks a little risky, you got to be led by the Holy Spirit.
Great point. So I believe that no, this whether it's in parenting or in governing and deciding for your own life, no is a word of protection. God says no to protect us. Mom or dad says no to protect the child. Employee and policy says no to protect the employee or the company. No is not a bad word. It has a negative connotation, but we agree that it's not bad. But what about when we know that our children are going to get into something that we know is not good, whether it's a boyfriend, a girlfriend, pursuing a something, whatever that is, we know it's bad. What do you do?
I would just say the importance of getting in a good Bible-based church where there's a strong youth ministry and they learn the word for themselves. And we just have to make sure that they are getting that word, that foundation.
Very good.
Awesome.
We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Robert Hawkins, Senior Counsel at Hawkins Counsel Group. We're a full-service law firm with a focus on excellence and service to our clients. Our practice areas include intellectual property, which includes patents, trademarks, and copyrights. We handle both commercial and residential real estate transactions. We help you with your business formation for both for-profit and not-for-profit entities. We do estate planning, including wills, trusts, medical directives, and power of attorney. Our practice also includes licensing, contracts, mediation, and more. Even if you're not sure we handle your area of need, give us a call. We will access our network of attorneys on your behalf. Call us anytime at 302-635-1511. That's 302-635-1511. Or visit our website at hawkinscounselgroup.com.
Welcome back to the Vantage Point. Now we're going to move along to my personal segment, Adults Only. So I'm not sure if you want the kids to hear this one, but we're going to talk about some things that kind of tickle our fancy a little bit. Now, we're going to kind of...
Tickle our fancy.
Yes, honey, tickle our fancy a little bit. We're going to talk about some things that, let's just say, would enhance your relationship, your marriage.
Amen.
Okay?
Clarify.
Let's clarify that.
Holy matrimony.
Holy matrimony, not engaged, not in love, marriage.
But you can also take notes for when you do.
Yes, please do. I think you'll like this one. Now, we all have things that we may fantasize as married couples. Wouldn't you agree, ladies?
Agree.
Okay. Some people, like for men, I know my husband personally is a boobs guy and a buttocks guy, and that's fine.
We just gonna go straight out with it. Well, I'm here. Let's do this. Oh, let's do this.
Good to know.
Where we going, sis?
And that's okay. Whatever tickles your fancy. But have you ladies ever thought about the feet?
Ooh, the what?
The feet.
The what?
I find the feet is the most attractive part of a man's body.
Yo, I was with you.
So
No,
the answer to
seriously.
your question is no, I have not thought about it.
No, hold on a minute. The feet, think about this. Now, I personally believe that my husband has the most beautiful feet I've ever seen. Now, granted, he's a little bit of a flat foot, but the bottom line is,
You gonna slide in there?
yeah, a little bit,
right?
You know, but it's
You be
just,
like, high five?
I'll be like, high five. I'm like, but the bottom line is, it's attractive. Do you know, they have said, now this is true, scientists say that the sensation in the feet and genitals both transmit in the same area of the brain.
Well, I've just learned something brand new.
I'm just saying.
You done said genitals, boobs, and butt.
And
I
buttocks.
just want the world to know that that was not me. Okay? They always wanted to be me. That's the bishop.
That is good to know. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to look at this in a whole new light because I
Yes.
am not a foot person. I don't.
What is it about feet that people normally shy away from? If you Google feet, you will find that is the area that most people are intrigued. I personally do have a foot fetish. I admit it. I really do. Even when my husband's feet may be ashy, I just find it so
See,
attractive.
You go too far. You
But what I'm saying
You
is,
go too far.
what
With
I'm
the
saying is-
powder on the feet.
Yeah, I'm just
Powder
saying.
on the feet.
But hold on, but you gotta look beyond that. You gotta look beyond that. But what I'm saying is, when you ladies go home this evening to your hubbies, look at his feet.
I've seen them.
Take the oil, rub the feet, massage the feet.
You can massage my
Wait a
feet.
minute.
Okay.
Because you are really
You
lighting
will
up
find
about these feet.
you will find a different response than what you're accustomed to. I'm just saying.
Oh, boy.
Just try it.
Well,
Wait a
I
minute.
get it with reflexology, how, I know you can cure a migraine or something like that from the foot. But this I ain't never heard of. Now, get my feet rubbed is great. I think that's a wonderful thing, but
See, Nat, I'm with you because I've done that with Robert's feet. I've massaged them with oil, etc., and he got a lot more out of it than I did. Now, I was happy. He was happy. If you understand
But
what
I'm
I
sure
mean.
the aftermath is great.
I was happy. He was happy. But personally, still no.
But his
so much.
response should, his delight
Yes.
should be a good
Yes.
thing.
Okay,
was
so
a
what I'm
beautiful
getting
thing.
from this conversation is it's about what makes them excited.
Exactly.
And we have to find what excites our husbands.
Exactly.
And pray that it's not the feet. Because I don't do feet. Okay?
Well, here's
I don't
the
do
thing.
feet. I will pay for a pedicure, my brother, but I'm not touching your feet.
see, my feet would put me you rub my feet, I'm going to sleep. I'm
That's
gonna
gonna
be
kill the
passed
mood.
out. So this is one way in terms of gender. Is that what the
Yeah,
research
is
is
it
saying?
gender?
I don't believe it's gender. I believe it depends on what floats your boat.
Does
I know.
he rub your feet?
Yes, he does.
And how
yes.
does that make you feel?
Wonderful.
You hear that, husband?
I like the way she said that. Wonderful. I like it.
So even when his feet are ashy, do you use holy oil?
I use the oil. I don't know if it's holy, but I do use
If
the
you
oil.
touch it, it's holy. The anointing's in
Look,
hand.
if I touch it, it's a move of God.
Praise the
Because
Lord.
I don't touch feet. Whew, just baby feet.
Woo! Oh, goodness
I will be
gracious.
looking.
That is so
Okay.
Make sure your husband keep his socks on. I'm on.
All I'm saying is, as your sister, I'm giving you look at this from a different vantage point. I know that's not your preference. However, it might just be. So when you go home this evening, I will be waiting for that text message.
You'll be waiting.
Might be waiting for a little
You'll
bit.
be waiting. This is good to do.
Thinning hair? HLCC can help. Proven laser technology. Affordable, effective, dramatic results. 25 years, 175 locations worldwide. Call today for a free consultation and 4 free laser treatments. 220-1500 or hlcconline.com.
Well, welcome back. For this portion of Vantage Point, I would like to redirect our attention to voting. Because as you know, this is a voting year. The election is going to be coming up very, very soon. And this voting process, I think, has been one of the most dynamic, let's say crazy, that we've ever had in this country. But it's interesting to me just to take a step back and to think about the voting and voting rights themselves, what it means to have the right to vote, and the history of voting. And as I was thinking about this topic, really it's very interesting because in this country, voting rights have been handed down with the Constitution, but very unevenly. Did you know that in the beginning, white males who owned property were the only ones who were allowed to vote? And then as history rolled on, it was only in 1864 that African Americans had the right to vote. And that was because we were considered 3/5 of a person. It was mostly an economic situation. It wasn't until 1919 and 1920 that women got the right to vote. And it wasn't until 1924 that Native Americans got the right to vote, along with citizenship. So these are long and hard-fought battles in terms of how to vote, can we vote, who can vote, why we can vote. And it's amazing to me, with all of that history, that people don't vote. If you think about it, it's something like 60 or 65% of people who vote, which means a good 40% of people who have the right are not coming out to the polls. So I just wanted to toss that out to you ladies in terms of why do you think it is, first of all, do you vote? I'll put you on the spot. Do you vote? And then why is it that people aren't voting these days?
Not only do I vote, I take my children with me when I go to vote. And I think that's where we have to start. We have to start the importance of voting. I can't ever imagine going to vote when I was younger with anyone that was older, which is kind of something that my husband and I started. And now they understand the importance. And when I went to go vote in the primary, my son was giving me the reasons why he thought I should vote for this candidate over another candidate. So I think starting young, you know, my baby, I think he's just a rare breed, but he understands the political process. I walked into the school one day, and it's always bad when the principal says, hey, Natalie's laughing because she's my child advocate and she knows what I'm going to say. I walk into the school and the principal says, Mrs. Hayes, that's not good. And I'm looking at him like, which one of you did it? Jared started a petition to impeach the president of the class. My boy. Yes. And so he said, the president is not doing his job. And he is not standing up, and I have the right, according to the Bill of Rights, I have the right.
That's right.
And so I think, and it was very important the way that I handled him and made sure he understood that I was, you know, I was really, really glad that he knew that he could express himself that way.
Yes.
But understanding the importance of your vote and your voice. I think those two things go together because if you did a study, I'm sure 100% of people complain. Not everybody votes, but 100% of people complain about something. And so I always teach my kids at my school, if you don't vote, I don't want to hear it. That's right. Vote and voice go together for me.
Yeah, totally agree.
You know, you said him having a voice. Now, how old is he?
He's 11. He just turned 11.
But even at 11 years old, this boy understands conceptually the accountability piece. Exactly. You know, there's politicians and then there's elected officials that we elect. There's a difference, you know, and take time to understand what's the difference between a politician and an elected official. But I love what you said about the historical context. And sometimes, no, all the time, quite often, we forget the historical context.
That's right.
And people become very numb to it, perhaps because they didn't live through it, you know. And so taking your children to the polls is awesome. I'm gonna put that in my file cabinet too. Take my children to the polls. Excellent. That's really, really good.
But I also believe too, as Alexa alluded earlier to, the fact that, you know, the history. And I question do they understand their voice and the importance behind it? Because what I'm seeing a lot of time is I believe that a lot of folks that don't vote, they don't realize that their voice do matter. And it's more, well, let somebody else elect them, or let them deal with that. To your point, Lori, but then when things transpire that you're not very pleased, okay, well, why are you in the office? Well, did you play your part? You know, and also I'm questioning, and I'm not an educator, so I'm not quite sure, but I question, do they stress this in school? I remember when I was in school, you know, I graduated in the early 90s, and it was a hot topic.
Right.
It was a hot topic.
And it's not. It's not something that's really pushed the way that I would like to see it, and also the historical aspect of it. But I make certain in my classroom, I find a way. So you will find a way if it's important for you to show them videos. You'll learn. I'm a visual learner. Everything that I have to see it, and so I'll show videos. I need you to see someone that looks exactly like you with dogs. Trying to come at them and hoses being sprayed at them, so you have the right to vote. What would those people say today?
I think at a national level, people tend to come out a little bit more, even though those numbers are kind of sad, as I quoted before. But I think one of the issues where we really fall down is at a local level.
I love it.
And I will raise my hand on that, because sometimes I think the plethora of information that's out there and the candidates and not knowing exactly who everyone stands for, I think to our discredit, sometimes we just don't take the time to find out, you know? And so we let those local elections kind of wash away, but within the national ones, then, you know, we make sure that we register with our party or register independent, and we really get in there.
So specifically, you're talking about mayoral,
school board, everything from school board on up. Because all of these people, someone put it really well the other day, and they said, when you vote, think in terms of these are the people who will be making decisions for your children's lives.
Drop the mic right there.
These are the people who will be making decisions about your children's lives.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's, you know, school board level or if it's all the way up to the president. You know, who's in charge is important.
Yeah.
That's very, very important.
That is
So we're going to come back and do more about this topic, because there's so much more when it comes to voting. We're going to come back to you very shortly.
Don't Judge Me Productions, bringing your creativity to life. We offer a variety of services in the areas of photography and videography. Videography services include weddings, music, commercial promotional materials, and much more. Photography services include engagements, weddings, family events, and much, much more. Contact us today by phone or email at don'tjudgemeprod@gmail.com. Be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram at Don't Judge Me Productions. Check out Divine Cuts in Newcastle, Delaware, promoting a family, faith-filled environment. Call or book your appointment online today.
Welcome back. Well, we were talking about voting, and I want to throw out another question to you ladies, and that is, do you tell people who you vote for?
I personally don't. And the reason why I don't, because I really don't want to be deterred from my opinion as to why I'm voting for this person. You know, because a lot of times, for perfect example, when Obama was going for the presidency, you know, everyone had their opinion as to why he should or should not be president. And so, of course, some people were playing the race card, and some people was playing, and I'm gonna be very real. I was excited to see a man of color having an actual opportunity to be the president of the United States.
Now wait, because that is a conversation that's been had for the past 8 years.
8 years, yes.
But is that wrong?
In my opinion, I say no. But some, I mean, were very angry. And when I did share, well, why not? They're like, well, you know, of course, they wrote down 50 reasons as to why he shouldn't be president of the United States. But at the same time, too, when you look at our previous presidents, they all had their opportunities. They all did.
Go ahead.
I could think of 50 reasons why a lot of people shouldn't be in a lot of positions of authority.
I got about 101.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, to answer your question, do I tell people who I vote? No, because I don't know is finite. I don't have, when you get into that conversation, now you have to justify. I don't.
Yeah.
This was my decision.
No, actually, you don't
This
have
was
to
my
justify
right,
it.
and I don't need to tell you who I voted for, and I'm not going to.
Oh,
you know,
no problem.
it's
You
my
know
choice.
you know that old adage that said you don't talk about religion or politics?
Right.
I think that's one of those things that people just feel so uncomfortable about.
They do.
And I know someone who said she was going to change from her party to independent because when people go on Facebook, she's looking for a job, et cetera, she doesn't want to be prejudged.
Oh, wow.
Because if her affiliation was Republican, you'll feel this way about it.
Right.
If she was a Democrat, you'll feel this way about it. So she was literally going to change her affiliation or drop her affiliation and become an independent so that she could kind of neutralize herself. And I was like, that's
I don't see the big deal. You don't have to justify it. God said those he called, he justified. That's his job to justify it. I'll tell you who I voted for, and then that's it. Like, I get to decide. That's what we're going. I get to decide whether I'm going to engage in this dialogue with you or not.
That's right.
I'll tell you who I voted for, and if I don't want to talk about it, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention, when you were talking about Obama, the reason I asked if the color mattered, my question to other people was, are you not voting for him because of his color?
That's a good question.
So, I mean, when it comes down to it, what are the reasons that you vote for whomever it is that you vote for? I think that's paramount.
Right. In other words, what qualifies
Exactly.
a person to be in office, and Scripture tells us you got to show and prove, right? So
That's good.
show and prove and look and take the time, as you were saying, to look.
And that goes to another point. I was thinking about this whole thing, and I came down to what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do?
He wouldn't run for office. Who in their right mind would run for office? Why would you? Let me tell you right now.
That is a true statement.
The president of these United States of America is sitting there saying, I can't wait to get up out of here.
I know that's
Something wrong
right.
with all of y'all.
It
My hair is
is-
white. Like, what's going on?
It
Michelle,
is
like,
the
peace.
tough role. It's tough getting to the position
Yes.
because I wouldn't even want to
Yeah.
go through the candidacy.
I know.
Opening every drawer and opening every closet, and I would not even want to go through that, let alone stumping for months and months and months at a time. But then once you get in the office, it's a serious office. This
Yes.
is not a joke.
No,
So that's why it all comes back to prayer.
And it's an
We
office
need
that
to
you don't leave.
Exactly.
Really?
I mean, you're not quitting.
Yeah.
You're not walking out and saying, "Oops, this wasn't me. I got it wrong."
My bad.
What, 2 months in? I don't think so. Can't, hey, vice president, we'll switch. None of that. None of that. Can't happen. No.
Sure.
But seriously, I think that as
changed
a
my
body of
mind,
Christ,
people.
that is one of the serious things that we need to do. Pray for the candidates and pray for the man or woman who's going to be the president, because it's such an important office that affects all of us, And that's what it really comes back to.
And a
Pray for who you
representation.
vote for.
And a representation of our country. This is a great country. You said that there was, what was the percentage of voters? It was like 60, about
Between 60 and 65.
and that's across the board. Now that just baffles me with it, not just the historical context, but this is our right. This is our government. This is where policies are created. These are where laws are being passed. But what I thought was very interesting was the young vote. And the myth is that young people don't vote. That's not true. In the last election, 82% of young eligible voters voted. I love it. Of that 62%. So elected officials need to listen to young people.
I think that has a lot to do with the candidate. I think it has a lot to do with, and I'm a marketing person, but how it's marketed, because nowadays we're really getting into social media a lot more than in years past.
Yeah.
If you notice, candidates are coming out on all kinds of different shows. It used to be a very formal presidential kind of thing.
Right.
Now it's Jimmy Kimmel Live and all these other shows that they're doing.
Right.
So I think they're really becoming more touchable to the people, and I think young people appreciate that. I also think young people are tuning into exactly what it is you're saying, because I'm looking for something new and I'm looking for something real.
It's like the 11-year-old. Let's hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Hear our voice. I been following a group, the Young Invincibles. They were founded in 2009, and they were motivated by the recognition that young people's voices weren't being heard. And so they rallied up. This was in a law school, and the co-founders set up a one-page website asking young people to share their stories, their thoughts, believing that their generation's capacity can truly have impact and voice in an election. But in little more than a year, they went from a group, ran out of a law school cafeteria to a national organization.
Love it.
I love it, representing the interests of the 18 to 34-year-old voter.
I love it.
It's Yeah, they're very interesting, young invincibles.
Well, that's perfect. That's perfect because we really do need our young people involved. We need our older people involved. So what we're saying this year is no matter who you vote for, make it a prayerful decision. Make sure you get out there and vote.
At the Print Shop, we apply our artistic and creative passion to create unique printed items. With our printing process, we empower people to express their love and passion for sports, family, team, or special interests. We can turn your idea into reality, from socks featuring your favorite sports team to a photo blanket for your grandmother. The Print Shop can print your photo or image on almost anything. In addition to sublimation, we also do traditional silk screening as well as vinyl work. Whether your need is 200 shirts for your family reunion or a single shirt to express you, we can make it happen. We would love to hear from you. Please call us at 856-517-3959, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Well, welcome back. Our next segment is health and beauty. We have an opportunity to discuss undergarments. Now, I have to say, it's one thing to dress the outside, ladies, but it is essential what's on the inside.
Yes, Lord.
Now, I love you ladies, and I love all my sisters out there. And guys, just sit tight, just talking to the ladies for a minute. When you have a very nice attire on, make sure you have the right undergarments underneath that. And when you, after the show, we're gonna display our Facebook and our social media, and we're gonna share some secrets with you as to where and how you can find some of the things we're discussing today. But one of the things I would like to touch on is, does anyone know the difference between a corset and a girdle?
I know they both hurt.
Yes. Well, a corset is very vintage, right? Was established in the early 1900s, and it's lace. Now, the thing with the corset is you can't really move around. But the beauty with the corset is it narrows you in. It keeps everything together. So you don't have much flexibility with the corset. But a girdle
We need flexibility.
provides all the flexibility that you need. And a girdle also is fit to move with you, where a corset is a little bit more uncomfortable. Now, I know a lot of times, I know back in the day, and again, I was a 90s girl, you know, we used to wear a girdle.
Wait, I didn't wear no girdle. I'm a 90s girl too.
Give me a headache.
You guys did not wear a girdle?
What were you doing in a girdle in the 90s?
Because, for example, if you had a certain dress on and you wanted to flow, so you will wear a certain type of, just to kind of keep you together, because you don't want to see all those rolls.
I thought that was a slip, which is an antiquated thing.
Well, actually,
yes.
Actually, I'm going to talk about that as well. A slip, now a lot of the skirts today, they have slips built in, which is great. But what about this sheer look nowadays that we're doing? A lot of the outfits today, especially the dresses that have that sheer look, you have to wear a slip, and you could get that at JCPenney.
Are you saying sheer, like see-through?
See-through. Because some of the ladies are wearing the see-through type, and they're wearing, they're camouflaging with certain, like say a camisole or things of that nature. But if the dress is kind of short, you still don't want to see your undergarments.
Well, does it depend on where you're going?
Well, wherever you're going, I want to see your undergarments.
I don't want to see your undergarments.
I'm just saying. I mean, if I'm going to the club, is it okay? Versus if I'm going to the church, or can I wear what I wear to the club to the church?
Well,
Or the fashion show offering.
Offering
The
fashion
church
show.
offering fashion show. Honey, that comes around without them girdles around for that offering.
Wait, hold up. So
That
if
is
you're
a
planning
shit.
your church offering fashion show outfit, be mindful of the undergarments.
That's it.
Is what she said.
be mindful of that. I'm hoping that you're using discernment. Okay, but keep it tight. But you'll be surprised how many ladies do not understand the difference between a girdle and a corset and their bra size.
Oh,
And that's huge.
now you're talking.
That's
speak to
huge.
that.
Now
Yes.
you're talking.
I can speak for that, and I'm speaking from experience because there was a time I would wear a certain size and it wasn't very fitting. And I didn't- literally, literally, and it wasn't cute.
Yes.
In ladies, it is something to be said when you have the right undergarments on because it not only you feel good, you walk out of there confident and everything is tight and it's together and it's perky and it just
perky.
it fits.
Perky's good.
I'm going to add that to your list.
Feet and perky.
Perky's good.
And perky. So, you know, but I would like to, I really would love to see, and maybe this is something we could do one day, but really understand where and how you can measure yourself. Because a lot of times when I went to one of my favorite stores in Wilmington, and it made a world of difference.
Yes. Yes.
Even when I wear a certain type of clothes, I'm like, wow, I feel confident.
You know, it's funny you should say that because I don't think people really think about this too much. I think we're kind of, or I'll speak to myself and maybe some of my friends, we're more thinking in terms of the outfit and how the outfit looks and how the shoes and the jewelry.
That's
But a lot of
right.
times we just don't really pay that much attention to the undergarment. I remember one time recently, to your point, Nat, I had to find a slip. I just needed a slip. And I was like, I don't even have a slip. I had to borrow a slip. When I went to return the slip, here's me. I washed it. No, I was returning it to my friend.
Oh,
I
okay.
washed
I
it,
thought you
and
took
I
it to the
thought, okay, I'm going to iron it. It had been so long. I tried to iron a slip, so you know where that went.
Oh.
Okay, so now I ruined the slip. I got to go to the store and buy a slip. I'm going to store after store, and they're like, oh, we don't
Like finding
we
a
don't do.
dinosaur.
It's like we don't sell
Really?
slips. Slips are out.
No.
That's wild.
And so the whole attention to your undergarments and your
Yeah.
attire, that I think we're really overlooking that because I know how to.
But even for health reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because to be quite honest with you, the right bra really helps your posture.
No, she's right.
I'm
No,
serious.
It changed my life. It changed my life. And let me tell you something. If you don't have the right undergarment, you will get a migraine. You will be cranky. I was cranky. I went and got fitted to the place you told me about, and I said, oh, that's me.
Yes.
My husband was pleased, but I was like, oh, like I wasn't a little off. I was way off.
Same
So
here.
it is important, but
I
it'll
think
definitely
people
change.
get stuck in the number
Yes.
instead of they. Oh my gosh, I can't
Yes.
possibly be
Yeah.
that big. Instead of okay, you know,
It is what it
there's
is.
always somebody that would like to have those blessed breasts.
We'll not go to a commercial.
Welcome back to Vantage Point. Now, one thing that I absolutely love is the Bible. And I don't mean that in a deep, churchy, church lady way. I mean, this thing is good. When you really, really dive into the Bible, you find out some stuff that make you go, So we're going to talk about what's in the Bible. So I'm kind of I guess you might have considered me one of the bad girls of the Bible if I was living in that time. So I'm kind of drawn to them. And one young lady that I'm particularly drawn to is Rahab. That's right, Rahab the harlot. Every time you see her name is Rahab the harlot.
Yeah.
Until you talk about the genealogy of Jesus. Isn't that something?
It is.
As soon as
It's phenomenal.
she gets associated with Jesus, she's no longer Rahab the harlot.
That's right.
So let's talk about the fact that in this Bible, it talks about how the great to the great grandmother of Jesus the Christ is Rahab the prostitute. Okay, lady of the night. The toot. That's what she is, the toot. So what are your thoughts about that? How interesting the Bible is in that God can use a woman with such a past. If you don't have a past, then I want you to put your hand down.
I need my.
You look,
We all have a past.
Yes, we
and
do.
God forbid that I was to have to walk around with all the labels. Lori the this, Lori the this. And when we're talking about, I think that's why God used Rahab the way that he did to understand that you have something after your name.
That's
Yes.
exactly the thing that was jumping out when you said that. That jumped out to me because I was thinking, wow, how many times we label someone and that label sticks with them for
Forever.
life. And it's like, okay, Rahab the harlot, Uncle Joe the drunk always comes to the family reunion, you know, whatever it is. And it's like that might be an issue for you. That might be an issue at a time. But one, we got to open up the doors and unlock the doors and let the people out, you know? I mean, just don't lock them in there for life. And then when you are about to change and you're making those small steps, when you're just beginning and you're making those small steps, we got to recognize those small steps when people are coming out. Because you're not going to jump from right into it to right out. You know, it's a process.
It's a process.
And so even in this story, when the spies, if I'm understanding, reading it, remembering it right, when the spies came to her, it's like, yeah, you're going to give her an opportunity to be part of the story.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't go to the all cleaned up ones, but you came to her and gave her an opportunity to step out of that life.
And she recognized God.
Yes.
She saw the God in them and said, ho, I know y'all the ones. Like, your God is the water parking God.
Yeah.
I'm going to bang with y'all.
But what did she do? Sorry, she chose.
Yes.
You have to make a choice.
Yes.
And
All about
how
choice.
about all these women running around talking about my Boaz, my Boaz. If you want a Boaz, your mother-in-law's a toot.
Yeah.
A prostitute, because that's who she was.
But here's the thing that gets me the most about that story.
Oh, y'all just gonna leave me hanging with the Boaz? Y'all not gonna try and validate my Boaz?
I feel you. I feel you. But
My mother-in-law is not a toot.
Thank you. I mean,
mother-in-law.
but I'm just saying, you don't know what you're praying
know.
for,
That's
and,
right.
and to understand that person,
Right.
you know, everybody has some baggage. with them.
And to see beyond and to be led. Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the beauty with this as well. When I think about that story of Rahab, it's that God chose her before the foundations of the world. God already knew her beginning and her end, but yet she was still chosen, even in the midst of her mess. And even in the way I interpret that is, even though she was living a lifestyle that was not complementary to who God is, yet she was still chosen.
Right.
But she made a choice. And you said something that was key. You said she was labeled Rahab the harlot until they talked about Jesus. That shifted. And that could be said for all of us. You know, so yeah, it's a phenomenal story, you know, just to know that this woman was a prostitute, but yet she is part of the lineage of Jesus Christ, our Savior.
Let's talk about labels, though. You know, when we label things, you know, you label them with the word, and words are containers that contain something, right? And so, you know, I think of a line in a movie. It says, when people put you down enough, you begin to believe it. And so we have to be careful of how we're labeling people, and then the association changes.
Yeah.
But how often do we judge people, right? That judgment based on whatever decisions or you know that they might have, or their current circumstance for passing judgment, but you don't know what the Lord is doing in their lives.
And you
It's
miss
amazing.
out.
You
What
miss
if they
out.
had said, we don't want a harlot to protect us?
That's right.
You know, oh, no, we can't come into your house. Sometimes that decision is life or death.
Yes.
Because if they had decided you're not the right one, you know, we can't associate with you. No, when you get desperate enough,
Right.
you don't care if God talks to you through a dog. You don't care. That man was talking to a donkey. A donkey behind you. What you saying, Lord? You talking through
Look,
this
the Lord
donkey?
talked to me through a commercial just the other day, and I
You know
was
what
like,
I'm saying?
got it.
You don't care where it comes from. And then the other side of it is that she recognized
Nice.
who they were. And she is the one. Now, they're in a wall. Now, I can't personally, I know my friend's been to Pompeii, so she's seen the ruins and everything. But I can't imagine you're living in a wall, right? They walk around Jericho. They walk around. The wall falls everywhere except for where she is. Everywhere
Protection.
except for where she is. And only the people that are in the house with her are kept. So that's another thing. When your family members are the harlots, don't lose them, because those might be the same ones that save you.
That's right.
We're going to go ahead and go to commercial.
That's right.
That's good.
Hello, I'm Robert Hawkins, Senior Counsel at Hawkins Counsel Group. We're a full-service law firm with a focus on excellence and service to our clients. Our practice areas include intellectual property, which includes patents, trademarks, and copyrights. We handle both commercial and residential real estate transactions. We help you with your business formation for both for-profit and not-for-profit entities. We do estate planning, including wills, trusts, medical directives, and power of attorney. Our practice also includes licensing, contracts, mediation, and more. Even if you're not sure we handle your area of need, give us a call. We will access our network of attorneys on your behalf. Call us anytime at 302-635-1511. That's 302-635-1511. Or visit our website at hawkinscounselgroup.com.
All right, welcome back. And so we had a good time today.
was good.
I had so much. I love y'all.
Do this every day.
I love y'all too. But just to recap, we talked about a lot. We talked about sheltering your children, and know when to say no and when to say yes. And then some of us here like feet. We talked about feet. I don't know if we all agreed that we like feet.
But we learned something.
We agreed to disagree.
We learned
and it was a
something.
different
Try it.
vantage point, and I received your information. Thank
Homework.
you, Six. And then we talked about voting. That's right. Voting and how important it is just to exercise your right to vote.
And can we clarify something too?
Please.
Because this is kind of a caveat that people do. When we mention our president's name, we should say President Barack Obama.
Yes,
or President
we
Obama.
should.
Agreed.
And First Lady Michelle Obama. So respect to our president and our First
Yes,
Lady.
will do.
Yes, thank you. Then we talked about undergarments and blessed breast. Somebody tweet that, blessed breast. No, but seriously, get your size checked out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's
do
a
a
nice
segment on
plug for mammograms. This is very important, women's health. And then finally, we talked about my girl Rahab the Toot.
Rahab.
That toot and how we're supposed to love no matter what. And so we just hope that you come back and join us, join the conversation, and follow us on all of our social media outlets. It's on the screen. I'm going to wait for you to subscribe. Let's wait. Give them a look. Hashtag VP Combo, and as always, God's perspective trumps our vantage point. Come back and hang out with us and get to know us right here on Seeds TV.